Hello everyone, it's me, that divination witch. I hope you're doing well. Now this is a more serious video and something I feel I had to speak out on, hence just sitting here with my plain background, because it is very heavy and serious, and it's what's going on in the world right now, or one area of the world. Before I get into the contents of the video, I just want to say hello, I'm Sarah, that divination witch. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. This is a safe space and a spiritual community I've set up where I share what I know, I share my theories on things, I answer questions, and I encourage people to ask questions as well. Nothing silly, we're all different, help each other out. If you like that, you know what to do. And if you want to support the channel further, all my links are below. I won't go any more in depth into that because I don't feel it's too appropriate given the subject matter. So we all know what's going on in LA right now. And first and foremost, before I get in anything, my heart goes out to you all who have been affected by this. I've been to LA a couple of times. The last time was 2019, just before COVID. And I have a kind of affinity with Southern California. I just really feel drawn to that place. I know I've got a few people who follow me from that area of the world. When I went there in 2018, the first time, there was actually fires going on there. And I remember how much you could smell it. And I know this is a common occurrence there as well, but it was just so thick and like, oh, it was in your lungs, and no matter where you went, you could just smell it. I went to LA, Burbank, for a Comic-Con thing. It wasn't the Comic-Con, it was a Once Upon a Time convention actually. And I remember the hotel it was at, sitting outside talking with people, and it was just like really like thick in your lungs. And I remember they were filming American Idol or something. I was talking with one of the contestants. I don't know who the hell it is because I don't watch that. But she was saying how common it is, and we had this whole conversation about it. So clearly this is something that happens quite a lot, but not on this level. So to anyone affected, I'm so sorry that you're going through it, and especially your average people who aren't rich or rich and famous and can't just replace a house. They've lost everything, and some people have lost their lives, sadly. At time of filming, 11 people have been confirmed to have lost their lives, and that's so sad. So I'm not making light of that. I'm sorry to hear that, and my heart goes out to you. And I'm also not making light of other things going on in the world either. I try not to comment too much on politics and things on this channel, but we can't deny the state of the world. There's warfare going on in several areas of the world, which I just can't wrap my head around. And people are suffering every day. And sadly, that's the way of the world right now. But there are a few reasons I'm commenting on this LA situation. I don't want to be one of those people who are just talking about, doing a psychic reading on it or whatever to capitalise off tragedies and things like this, like some psychics do. That's not me. No. This is speaking from the heart and what I feel like I have to say, and how it links with my beliefs and what I feel Hecate is showing me and stuff. So there are a couple of things. First thing I'll get out the way. Well, no. First thing, before this even happened, at the beginning of the year, Hecate, in my personal practice, got me to do some deep shadow work to help me towards my manifestations. And some of it I'm not comfortable sharing because it's personal. But some imagery that came up was California. And I've always felt kind of drawn to the West Coast and that area of the world, all the way from California, right up to, I've been to Vancouver as well. And I know there's a Hecate Island around there too. But I am drawn to that area of the world. And so that came up as part of my manifestation. And I've told nobody about it. I think I may have told Lauren in a little bit, my friend who's on the channel sometimes, my best witchy friend. But this was very personal between me and Hecate. And I've got a personal, deeper meaning to it, right? And it was weird that not long after going through this thing with Hecate, let's say, this happens in LA. And like I said, I've been there before. And it seems to be a common theme that they do have fires, but not to this extent. And it's like, okay. So there's 1,000,001 conspiracy theories and theories flying about on the internet. And there's a couple, apart from the spiritual thing that I've gone through, but there's a couple that have got me to film this video for you guys, to give you my 2 cents and what I feel Hecate is trying to pry out of me. First things first, we'll put this on the screen. This TikTok, and I can't put the volume on because it'll be copyrighted, but it's a Hecate song. This person is essentially saying that Hecate is responsible for the fires. No, she is not. Absolutely not. Now, yes, there are 1,000,001 conspiracy theories, which we'll get into some of them, and theories. But from what she has told me and what my gut says, it's karma. It's not karma as in divine justice. It's more like you reap what you sow. And it's not that the individuals who have lost their homes and their lives have done anything wrong per se. Some might have. But especially your average people don't deserve that. Absolutely not. Hecate herself cares about everyone, regardless of how much money you've got in the bank, what you vote, who you vote for, what your religious beliefs are. She isn't that fickle. She's not human. She's a goddess. She's above all of this. She's the divine feminine. So she's not gonna like throw a wrecking ball in and like affect so many innocent people like this. Sometimes natural disasters happen, and sometimes bad things happen to good people too. And when I say that, I mean it about the average Joe who has lost everything. They don't deserve it, you know. California, from my research, used to have a big lake that through different laws and whatever, the lake, the water from it is being drained, and basically they've got issues with water. From my understanding, even when they went to put out the fires, there wasn't enough water in the fire hydrants. They'd also cut back on funding for the fire brigade, and they had sent supplies abroad as well. So they were low on that. They were low on basically supplies and people and water. So it's like, what you're going to fight the fire with? Then there's the fact that California is a pretty dry landscape, and a lot of the dead plants and trees and things had not been cleared away when it was advised they should have been. Because if an alive tree catches fire, it's full of liquids and water if it's alive. But if it's dried out and dead, that is tinder for the fire. So it was a mixture of things, of negligence, to be quite honest, from my understanding. And basically you reap what you sow. Yeah, there is an element of climate change in it. I'm not blaming climate change for everything, but it didn't rain when it was meant to as well. So yeah, fire happens. It's not getting put out. But how does the fire happen? And this is where 1,000,001 theories come in. And I don't know. I've asked Hecate about it, and she basically said, you reap what you sow. That was her words. You reap what you sow. And it wasn't talking about the average people. It was talking about those who had the power. I believe the mayor of California wasn't even in California. She was in Africa when this kicked off. So I'm not here to argue about that and say I'm right, you're wrong, or Hecate says it, or whatever. I'm here to say, no, Hecate didn't start your bloody fire. And also that there is an element of, well, humans could have prevented this and we didn't. Now, I'm going to boil down now into more conspiracy theory territory, because I've asked about something here, and it really hit home, something I heard, and I'm like, there is an element of truth in it. So there are people out there who are saying that this is a cover up and it was done on purpose, especially to cover up stuff like P. Diddy did. And if you are interested in learning more about that, look up Pizzagate and all of that, because it all links in with that. I don't know what I feel about that. I think there's elements of truth in a lot of conspiracy theories, but I don't think the whole thing is true. I do feel that Hollywood has a lot to answer for as a big umbrella term, and there are some corrupt people in Hollywood, but not everyone is. It's like everything. You get some nice people and some not nice people in every walk of life. So I can't just say it's all that. There are even Christians kind of saying the same thing about, how this person said Hecate did it, saying that, oh, this is going to be revelations, it's 7 trumpets or whatever. No, it's not. It's not that. There was a New Age person I saw as well saying how the root chakra, because planet Earth has chakras, the heart chakra is in Glastonbury in the UK. The root chakra is meant to be around California, and they're saying that it's something to do with Mother Earth getting revenge, sort of thing. And they were blaming the 72 demons of the Ars Goetia, which I'm like, no, whatever credible truth could have been in that, you've just effed it up when you're talking about the 72 spirits from the Goetia, because as someone who has met and worked with several of them, I know that is a crock of shit. They're not all demons. They're all, well, not all of them, but a lot of them were once gods in their own right that were demonized. But then this woman popped up on my TikTok. I'll put her TikToks up. I saved some of them, okay? I'll put a break in the video so you can watch them. Before I put the break in, please don't go after this woman. I'm not sharing this to like slate her or anything like that. Please don't. Just listen to her. No matter what you may think, no matter how skeptical you may be about her, just listen. And then we'll catch up in a sec.
All right, we got this crazy wild situation over in California with the fires. And I understand that the fire came very near the Getty Villa. Well, once upon a time, a little birdie told me the little birdies that hang around me are special little birdies that know special things. Once upon a time, a little birdie told me that there is an aspect, a largely physical aspect, that embodies the essence of the Black Goo, that is kept and contained inside of a frequency pin, basically, underneath the Getty. So when I saw that the fire was going near it, I thought, what would happen if the Getty burned? What would happen to our friend who's locked underneath, contained in a frequency field? They cannot let that burn. They cannot let it burn, because she will be released. And not for nothing, but I think she's on our side at this point. She is the Black Goo. The reason I refer to her as a she is because she is just a cosmic force. She's an essence in the form of a largely protein-based plasma, which is the Black Goo. But when she does take a body, she embodies the Spider Kingdom. When she needs a physical vessel, she moves into the Spider Kingdom, and they move as a hive on her behalf. And typically, depending on the lore, depending on the story, depending on where you're located, depending on your culture, she has either been seen as evil or as a world weaver or benevolent, a mother spider. It depends on the perspective. There is a large mother spider embodiment of, it's a form that the Black Goo took in a physical form as a large spider, which is extremely intelligent with the wisdom of the ages, wisdom of the cosmos. And it is my understanding that this essence, I call it a her because the last time I saw her personally, she was pregnant. That's why I call her a her, and that's why I call her a mother. Because last time I saw her, she had billions of eggs on her stomach. And when I say I saw her, I mean I encounter this essence in my travels. I encounter her. She is a huge consciousness in the fields on the planet. She's been here forever. They have an embodiment of this spider slash Black Goo mother essence. There's a spider. And I know how crazy it sounds, but actually it doesn't anymore. Now that I understand how this world works, it makes perfect sense that a spider could embody a consciousness, an ancient consciousness that moves as a plasma. That thing can get in anything. This essence, she just prefers the spider kingdom because they don't just weave physically, they weave ethereally. Yeah, it has and it does go in people and make them crazy. And what it does, it doesn't make them crazy. What it does is it amplifies whatever distortions they already have in them. And this thing, okay, this is a world eater. This thing moves, it gets into, like it got into our atmosphere on a meteor coming through the stratosphere, entered our realm thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. And it has been feeding here on the dark, negative, dense energy. And so it gets to feed a lot. Like the more dense and negative things are, the more food it has. So it's like perfect. Like it affects humans and it gets them to perpetuate this reality where it's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And everybody's upsetted and addicted and ashamed and afraid and all the things that humans are. And I also know that we have studied... I am of the particular belief that amongst many other reasons I'm here on this plane right now is I'm studying this and I'm sending data back to wherever else we are. There's aspects of us all over the place. I'm sending data back. And I also know that I'm not just studying it for Earth. This thing has eaten other worlds. It has consumed other planets, all the life on other planets. We are not the only one dealing with this. This thing is a menace. And so we have been studying it for a very long time. It's just that in this particular situation, because it has gotten inside human people, it has developed a symbiosis with the type of life that is here, with the type of beings that are here who are capable of carrying maximum light and maximum darkness in the same body. That is a distinction from life in other places. It has become symbiotic with humans, which means now we influence it directly. You cannot kill it. You cannot kill it. There is no way, and I can say that on absolute very, very good authority from data, from handling this thing in many other dimensions and many other timelines and many other worlds, many other spaces and planes. You're not killing it. Because as long as one tiny itty bitty nano piece of it exists, the entirety of it exists. It's like that. But because of this symbiosis that has occurred, humans are affecting her now. Which means that we can control her. We cannot end her. You're not going to eliminate her, but you can control her. You can neutralize her. And the way you can neutralize her is by humans basically getting on the straight and narrow, keeping our energetic as close to center as possible. Not by seeking our hearts and pruning out those negative things that give her a foothold, the things that are destructive to the human soul, destructive to the human condition. I know that those experiences are vital for humans, and I don't grieve them that we suffer. I don't grieve that we suffer. I think those are excellent. They teach. Suffering teaches. But because we're sharing this space with this cosmic force, who is known as a world eater, our what should just be, I guess, innocent suffering is now becoming world-ending suffering, has become world-ending type shit now. We can neutralize her by basically, again, staying in the middle, like those 10 commandments thing. Like I'm not a fan of religion. They have really foobarred humans, and I'm not happy about it. And even the 10 commandments wasn't intent, the way that you were taught it isn't actually correct. But at the end of the day, it's not a bad starting point to like neutralize the goo. If we would follow those, I'd start with those 10, that list of 10 things. If we started with that, adopting that into our character, into our heart, into our means of operation, if everybody did that, or at least the majority of people, at least 51% of people did that, she would begin to be less fussy. We could get her in a neutralized state. And eventually, if God willing, if more than 51% of us became predominantly loving, predominantly open-hearted, fair, compassionate, that kind of thing, we could eventually get her to mirror that too. She's mirroring us now. We are in full control of how this stuff operates. It's just that humans don't know it exists. Humans think I'm crazy for saying that it exists. Humans don't understand that plasma physics rule this world, not third dimensional physics. And humans don't want to hear anything that has to do with them having to make a correction. They don't want to do it. So, and again, we've got all these the positive aspects. Like people think if I'm going to be a better person, somehow they think religion has to be involved in that. And so then you get all the distortions that religion creates. Wherein we don't know, like humans, like it's cool. You can just be a nice ass fucking person. You can just be all right in your heart. You can just have a good heart. And you don't have to enter any cult. You don't have to be in any religion. You don't have to believe in a specific God. Okay? You can just be a decent human and just hold love in your heart. And you don't got to subscribe to any weird shit. If we could get to that place as a society really fast, we'll be okay. But the chaos has to happen before we get there. I do think we will get there, though.
Right, so you should have seen the videos, and no disrespect to this lady. What she says, at first you would think it's tinfoil hat territory, as in conspiracy theory territory, as in this is so outlandish and far-fetched. But she randomly appeared to me one day scrolling, and I'm like, actually, some of it, no. But actually, this sounds like Wetiko. And this is why I've had to make the video. So, I've spoke about Wetiko on the channel before. I made a whole video trying to warn people about it. Well, I've made a few. I made 3 so far. Maybe 4, if you count the vampire thing. I'm going to be talking more about it on the channel because it's a real problem. Wetiko, that's a Native American word. Long story short, Hecate drew me to learn about it. I've got a whole story time about it. It's called The Real Spiritual Warfare. I'm going to make a playlist about Wetiko related things, actually. I think that's the right thing to do. But I made a video on how I discovered what it was, etc. But before, well, basically, she led me to understand what it is, okay? The Native Americans called it Wetiko. They called it a mind virus. It is like a virus, it is. But it's not born of us, even though they kind of thought it was. No, it is external to us. It is where your astral parasites, your negative entities, your demons come from. It's what I can only describe as anti-universe. It's what in ancient mythologies serpents were, not all serpents, because serpents can mean knowledge, but I mean like Apep, for example, in Egyptian mythology. It's chaos that is unbridled, and it's chaos that no good can come from. It is destruction. And what Wetiko is, it wants our destruction. It feeds off our energy. It feeds off our fears and our negative emotions. So things that scare us, things that make us feel bad and depressed and sad and angry and wrathful. All the nasty negative emotions it feeds off. It preys on people's mental health, and it preys on the vulnerable, and it does it with everybody, regardless of who you believe in, what your religion is or not. Even praying to Jesus can't save you from this. Praying to Hecate can't save you. What can save you is knowledge and your own resilience. And when you feel down, this is just for the average person, when you feel down, when you're doubting yourself, when you're anxious about something, this energy can slip in and make it worse. Now, yes, we have mental health, of course, and there are mundane problems that still happen regardless. And there's times in life you're going to feel sad, times in life you're going to feel angry, It can't bypass mental health in that regard, but it exasperates an existing issue and it makes you feel a million times worse. And for us spiritual people, we are more susceptible to it. We're like prime steak in a way because we know more about it and we know more about energy. And a lot of us see them. I always knew what trickster spirits were, but I never thought to question where do they come from. These things exist. And they are attachments. They are, what people, like I say, would call demons. And they can attach to anyone. They may start off as just bad energy, but then if left long enough, they can manifest into more problems. They can affect not just mental health, but physical health too, because with your mental health, if you get that low, then you're not going to look after yourself physically. If you are so drained and tired all the time and your body doesn't have the energy to build yourself up, then this affects you. And this Wetiko takes on the form of normally like squid looking things, snaky things, but spiders as well is one of its forms. And it's not one I've spoke about too much because when it comes to the spider and the snake, snakes were once knowledge and wisdom, and it's kind of twisted the nice things into nasty things. Spiders are symbols of fate, symbols of the universe, because if you look at the universe, it's like one big spider web. And Arachne is said to be a symbol of that. She's an ancient Greek goddess. The Morai, the weaver, even in Native American traditions, I believe she's called Grandmother Spider, something like that. Sorry if I got the name wrong. But spiders are meant to symbolize the universe, and it's kind of like a mockery in a way that it takes on forms that we once thought were good, I suppose. But this woman was onto something. Now, I don't believe it's an alien, as in a physical alien. It's alien to us, definitely. And it could be alien on a spiritual level, like a lot of aliens are, like what people say starseeds are, etc. A lot of these beings exist, but not in the physical. So I'm not dismissing that. But I do think there is a hive of it in Hollywood. I do. And I think it can influence us, and that I think that this is some of the corruption that comes through Hollywood and through mainstream media in general. People don't realise it. It's not just mainstream media that does it, it's religions as well, it's people in power. It runs deep, and that's why it doesn't matter about politics in that regard, because if corruption's there, it's there, regardless of who you are. And that's really what the real fight is in a way. And I do believe that it could be, if any of these conspiracy theories are real, about what started the fire, if it is a cover-up, or what's influencing the cover-up and all the evil people and the heinous things that P. Diddy has done and stuff. What's influencing all of that? What's influencing people wanting power and wanting money and fame and all this stuff? What's influencing it? Where to go? It's this. And that's what I feel that Hecate really wanted me to say on this matter, to be honest. Look after yourselves. If you are in LA or around the area, anywhere affected, and especially if you've got nowhere else to go, please, please, please be on your guard, because there are people now who are taking advantage of this disaster and they are attacking people. They are stealing things, looting, God knows what. I know people have been caught trying to set more fires. It's anarchy. Be careful. Look after yourself. Look after those closest to you. Be kind to one another in this time. And yes, just think, what is influencing this? And no, Hecate didn't start your fire. All right, well, that's the video. And sorry it was a heavy one. But yeah, I just needed to talk about this, I suppose. I don't know how to end this video. It was very heavy. Okay, until next time, stay safe, stay witchy. Bye.